Imagine owning a camera that doesn't just see the present, but actually predicts the future. For the last 4 years, Sony has safely sat on the throne of autofocus technology. Every professional sports and wildlife photographer knew that if you wanted a camera that wouldn't miss a shot, you bought a Sony. Their real-time tracking became the gold standard across the entire industry. But out of nowhere, Nikon just dropped a massive bomb on the camera world. They released firmware version 6.0 for the Nikon Z9, and it is completely rewriting the rules of photography. This is not just a standard bug fix or a minor feature upgrade. This is a fundamental rewrite of how a camera understands reality, motion, and time. Nikon didn't just close the gap. They might have just destroyed Sony's undisputed crown. To understand why this is such a massive deal, we have to look at how these two camera giants handle focus. Sony's legendary system is built entirely on pattern recognition. Inside a modern Sony camera, a dedicated AI processing unit constantly stares at the frame. It analyzes color, distance, brightness, and facial features at blistering speeds. When you lock onto a subject, the internal processor builds a high-speed profile of that exact cluster of pixels. If a soccer player turns their back to you, the camera doesn't panic. It instantly falls back from eye tracking to head tracking, and then to body tracking based on that pre-built visual pattern. It is incredibly sticky, highly reliable, and it has been the daily driver for thousands of working pros. But Nikon looked at this system and decided to completely flip the script. With firmware 6.0, Nikon is introducing something called vector trajectory prediction. Instead of just asking the processor where the subject is at this exact microsecond, the internal engine is calculating the physics of the movement. It actively analyzes the velocity, the acceleration, and the directional intent of whatever you are shooting. It then uses advanced mathematics to predict exactly where that subject will be in the next 10 to 20 milliseconds. Industry insiders and supply chain leaks on Weibo confirm that Nikon secretly trained a massive new neural network specifically to handle chaotic and erratic movement. This means the camera is no longer just reacting to what happened. It is calculating what is about to happen. The real-world difference this math makes is absolutely staggering. Standard autofocus systems rely on keeping a visual eye on the target. If you are tracking a bird flying through the air and it passes behind a thick tree branch, a Sony system will remember what that bird looks like and wait for it to reappear on the other side. But Nikon's new predictive system calculates the bird's entry speed and mathematically projects the exact moment and location it will exit the obstruction. The camera actually moves the focus plane to intercept the bird before it even clears the leaves. Initial lab tests and field reports show that the frustrating focus hunting during subject blocking is completely gone. The camera reacts to the laws of physics rather than just waiting for contrast shifts. However, extracting this much power out of existing hardware comes with a major catch. Nikon is squeezing every last drop of computational headroom out of its current processor architecture. There are massive red flags rising in the community regarding heat generation. Engineering interviews reveal that running these constant vector calculations pushes the processor to its absolute thermal limits. This raises a huge question for professionals. If you are shooting heavy 8K raw video in the middle of a scorching summer, will this intense processing trigger aggressive thermal throttling? There is no free lunch in physics. If you push the neural engine to its absolute max, you are going to generate serious heat, and we have yet to see how the magnesium alloy chassis handles this over long periods. Beyond the raw technology, this update highlights a massive difference in how these companies treat their customers. For years, Sony's strategy has been to lock new autofocus features behind a hardware paywall. If you want their latest AI tracking chip, you have to buy a brand new camera body like the A7RV or the A9 III. People in the industry jokingly call this the Sony Tax. If you want the upgrade, you open your wallet. Nikon, on the other hand, is treating the Z9 like a modern smartphone platform. They are delivering massive, revolutionary technological leaps through completely free software updates. This strategy builds insane brand loyalty because it completely changes the financial math for working photographers. When you put these systems head-to-head in normal shooting conditions, the hit rates between a firmware 6.0 Nikon Z9 and a top-tier Sony camera are almost identical. They are both incredibly sharp. But the moment you introduce truly erratic, unpredictable chaos, the predictive Intent of Nikon's new algorithm clearly pulls ahead. Whether it is a tennis player violently changing direction mid-swing or a motorsport rally car drifting through a thick cloud of heavy smoke, the Nikon Z9 simply refuses to lose the target. Meanwhile, competitors like Canon are starting to feel a generation behind, struggling to keep up with this new predictive standard. Ultimately, this update is a massive win for the photography community. If you already own a Nikon Z9, you essentially just received a brand new flagship camera for absolutely free. You no longer need to justify spending $6,000 on a brand new camera system just to get the best autofocus on the market. Nikon has proven that software can fundamentally shift hardware limitations. Sony's real-time tracking is still a masterpiece of engineering, but predicting the future using velocity math is clearly the next evolution of photography. If you are sitting on the fence trying to decide where to invest your hard-earned money, the Z9 is currently the most compelling daily driver available. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your fellow photographers, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive into the latest tech.